I think we need to start by addressing the elephant in the room, Rachel.
That could be so many things.
I mean, for me, it's this large bottle that says SodaStream on it. And not a sponsor, by the way. But,
he wishes.
Oh, my gosh. I can dream of a SodaStream sponsorship. That would be incredible. No, sadly not. But what I am working with here is a sparkling water addiction that I've discovered earlier this year.
It's a new addiction.
Like last 6 months?
Maybe year.
Yeah, something like that. Just from me realizing that I really enjoyed sparkling water, and I was like, oh, this stuff is delicious. What am I doing with my life here? I should probably be consuming more of this, especially because I used to drink a lot of soda, especially in college.
Yeah, you went like soda, and then you went like full hardcore sweet tea obsession.
Yeah, very Southern. Raised by my grandmother.
Yeah.
Drank a lot of sweet tea.
Like early marriage, it was like sweet tea every day, sweet tea in my cup, like big
cup of sweet tea, and it was a lot of fun. But then I realized I was consuming a lot of sugar, so I cut back. And then it was like
you did water for a while, just water.
Well, it was mildly sweet tea, then it was basically unsweet tea, and then it was like, why am I even drinking this? This isn't even fun. Which I know there's a lot of people that drink tea just because, like, the British have kind of done that.
That's usually hot tea.
I'm not about that. No, I'm a cold tea, iced tea boy. So now sweet tea is only a special occasion, a little treat.
And now you went like kind of water, and then you're like, wait, do I like sparkling water? I don't think you've had much experience with it, and you're like, I'm obsessed.
My only experience with it was in 2012 when I was in Germany on a mission trip with my church, teaching the little German children about Jesus and baseball. Both things of which I am they did not know much about, and which I was not the best at explaining either of them, but I was like, cool, let's do this thing.
You really don't know anything about baseball. Like, that's a big, you know some stuff about Jesus with baseball. You don't know anything about sports. I know more about sports than you do.
Significantly more about Jesus than baseball, I will say. But I got over there, and my experience up to that point was playing t-ball whenever I was a small wee boy, and then getting into Little League, and every other guy hitting puberty before me, and me being very small, getting 70, 80 mile per hour balls thrown at me. And I was like, wow, I'm going to die. So I did like 2 weeks of that. And I'm like, nope, I don't want to die. So stopped baseball. But I just remember that I was at this baseball camp teaching these kids about baseball and Jesus, having a great time. And I had to, I remember being so thirsty. It was so hot in the summer in Germany. We'd be running these bases, sprinting around. And then we get done, and they're like, oh, here, have something to drink. You're thirsty. And it would always be sparkling water. And, whenever you're sweaty and you're tired and you're, been running and your heart's pounding and you really want a refreshing beverage, you want to chug water. And you can't do that with sparkling water. It's just...
It's a European thing.
Very European. Those German boys, I'm telling you. Little German boys and girls drinking, they're like, you want some alcohol-free beer? I'm like... No, I do not, because you got to remember it's Germany, so the drinking age is 18 or 16 over there. I
think it's 16 for beer and wine, and then 18 for liquor.
You can correct me
Something
if
like that.
I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, that happened, and I was like, no, I'm just finished. Imagine running the bases, and then you're like, I'm really thirsty, and they're like, you want sparkling water or beer that has no alcohol in it? And I'm like, I want neither of these things. No.
But little did you know that now...
Here we are.
Obsessed.
Yeah, yeah. I realized that I liked the fizziness of a soda, but if I could get past...
The guilt and shame.
If I could just enjoy the fizziness without any of the sugar, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good for me. Okay, cool, let's do that. And it's been quite delicious. And so I started on the train of buying cans and working through all the different brands. So many brands.
What's your preference?
I'll tell you my sister's preference and her husband. They're all about Spindrift because it's real fruit juice. It's not fizzy enough. It needs to burn my mouth when I drink it. I want to feel a little party of all the bubbles. And
you
I don't
care
feel that.
more about the fizz than you care about the flavor.
Yeah, I'm the fizzier the better. So
you like what?
You
like Topo?
Love Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico because it's
say it right.
It's very, very strong. I like there's a grocery store called HEB down here in Texas. They have their own brand. It's really cheap. And
Okay,
it's
if
pretty
you people
fizzy.
don't know about HEB,
Can't help you. Can't help you.
like that is a Texas thing.
Yes. So that's all progressed, and it was with me buying like, I don't know, $4 to $10 of sparkling water cans every 2 weeks, I'd say, something like that. And then I was talking to my friend Caleb Jimenez.
You have to pronounce it that way.
From KEJ. Love him and his wife. They're on the podcast. They're like the second episode.
They're that important.
They are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And they, out of the blue, Caleb was like, hey, I shipped you something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, surprise. And then a soda stream arrived on my porch with 3 bottles and some carbonation. And I am now hopelessly addicted to this.
Now he refills them and carbonates them every night.
Yeah.
And then he puts them in the fridge and he drinks on them every day. And then he refills them. And so we are saving so much money.
Yeah. Like tens of dollars.
Oh, tens.
Tens easily.
Yeah. Big sponsorship.
Man. Yeah.
Reach out, SodaStream.
SodaStream.
Big fan. I think it's all disgusting. Like, I'm not drinking it. I think it tastes gross.
I get a new flavor of something and I'm like, hey, try this. And she's like,
None
okay.
of it's good. I don't like a single brand. I don't like a single flavor. I was like, if you're going to do this, like, give me regular water or Coca-Cola. Like, there's no in between for me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like a Fresca, but that's still soda. I'm not going to drink it really
Fresca's still pretty darn sweet.
I know.
From
it's a soda. It's a soda. But I don't really drink anything other than water, milk, coffee.
Rachel loves milk.
I do like milk.
Okay, a lot of people off the milk train
people
now.
People are off. I'm
They're
fully
like all
on
the oat
it.
milk. My mom came over today. She brought by a bottle
almond
of Silk.
Milk.
No, it's Silk.
But it was almond milk.
It was Silk makes almond milk?
Yeah.
I thought that Silk was only soy milk because it's Silk.
No, they go into everything now. It started as only soy, but then they've branched out. They know they can make more money. It's an almond milk by Silk.
So it's like a Lilk or something like that. It doesn't work as well.
Right.
Silk was such a perfect naming system for it.
She tried it. She's like, I don't like this. Do you want this? Like, we're not going to drink this. And she was like, okay, I'll pour it down the drain.
And I walked out. And
why does she have that accent?
Like, wow.
I don't know. She doesn't have that accent.
But I was like looking at it. I was like, yeah, I don't really drink milk anymore, Mom. And she's like, that's really surprising, mainly because when I was a child, I would consume just bowls of cereal. I was a
But
cereal
that was
fiend.
for the sugar. That wasn't for the milk.
Yeah.
I intentionally just like milk. Like me and your daughter will just be like, oh, I need more milk. And we'll drink like I have a problem. Like I'll drink like 2 cups, like 20 ounces.
With
I'm like
a
down
slice
it.
of cake or something like that.
Yeah, it's like part of it. It's like if I can't have milk with my sugar, there's no point. I won't eat the sugar.
She's the person that goes to the
Maybe it's
donut
about the
shop.
milk. It's not even about the sugar.
I think it is because she'll go to like the donut shop and she has to buy like a bottle of milk
yes.
with
So it's
the
like,
donuts.
I'm going to get a donut. Can I have a thing of milk too?
And then they assume like, is there a child in the car? No children. Just
Or I'll take like desserts to go so I can have milk at home because it's weird like buying milk at a restaurant or like a fancy
if
restaurant.
You order milk, they're like, milk? Really? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I grew up that way and I'm still that way.
Yeah.
And I don't have like, as far as I know, I'm not a milk intolerant. I think you and all the men in your family are slightly lactose intolerant because of certain bowel issues.
Airing all the dirty laundry.
And I think you're in denial and you're like, well, this is how my body operates and I don't care and I want to eat my cheese. Because you don't drink milk, but you do like cheese. I
will agree to that. I consume a lot of cheese.
I don't even know, like, how many types of cheese do you think we have in the fridge right now?
1, 2, 3, at least 4, 5. Like, you got your American, because you got to have that if you're making burgers. You've got your cheddar, because that's just, like, staple for, like, the children or anything like that. Mozzarella for pizza. Munster for sandwiches, because Leah likes that. Parmesan.
And I currently have ricotta and cottage in there because I was going to make lasagna.
Yeah, ricotta cottage. And ricotta works great for pancakes. Can you do that?
Yes, we love a ricotta pancake.
Sour cream is like cheese adjacent. That's really close.
Cream cheese. Definitely have cream cheese.
Yeah, well, cream cheese is just in there. It doesn't go bad. You just leave it in there for a long time.
I just said it was in the fridge. We have a lot of cheese.
So there's a lot more
cheese.
than I thought. Yeah, okay. Fine. Yeah, we consume
cheese. But we're
cheese
also American.
all the time. So yeah, maybe I'm not consuming milk, but I'm still consuming half my weight in cheese. So that makes a little difference there.
So you have a milk problem. You have a soda water problem.
I will say I love me some aged Gouda all about that. Delicious. I was on a flight back. Oh my gosh, it's all connected. That Germany trip to Germany in 2012. When I was there, I was flying back, and I sat next to this lovely woman because we flew through Amsterdam. And I sat next to this lovely woman who was very wealthy because she told me she had multiple houses. And as you do whenever you're sitting next to anybody, she turns to me and says, "Would you like some cheese?" And me being American and a cheese lover, I was like, "Yes, I want some cheese from the strange lady on the airplane. I'll take some of your cheese."
And a 23-year-old man at the time, probably.
Yeah, I was early 20s. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not going to get mugged. Yeah, I'll take your cheese, lady. Sure. And she gives me this old Amsterdam brand of aged Gouda, and she's like,
good stuff.
She's like, "This is some of the best cheese, and you can't get it in America. It's some of the best." And I was like, "Wow, okay, I got to try this." I loved it. And then I was really sad that I wouldn't be able to get it. And then I went to my local H-E-B grocery store, and they had it there. And I was like, "Well, that lady was wrong, but also I'm going to order like 3 pounds of this."
If they import it to America.
Yeah.
But you definitely can get it pretty easily. And it's good stuff.
Yeah. If you want to get into your aged cheeses, try some old Amsterdam. That stuff, I could eat a whole like wheel of it, and I'd be a little rat boy at that point, just consuming my cheese. Boy. That'd be me, eating my cheese. Oh.
Rat because of your cheese, turtle because of your neck. That segues into something else.
That'll be a segue in a little bit here. Oh gosh. So I part of me getting healthy and going to the gym, trying to take care of myself a bit more, was whenever I turned 35. Well, I think we need to go back to 33 actually, because my dad has this theory.
I think it holds up.
It does. It surprisingly does. Okay, my dad's whole theory, and he's told this to me like every year growing up. On my birthday, he'd be like, "Well, son, Jesus only lived till he was 33 years on the earth, and then he went up to heaven. All I'm saying is that once you turn 33, your body's gonna start falling apart. That's whenever you start to decay." And
you're like, "Okay, Dad."
Yeah. Okay. Whatever, Dad. What do you know? Come on. And then, my dad was totally right. Because, I turned 33 and I'm like, my dad doesn't know what he's talking about. I turned 34, just downhill. I was like, wow, I feel old. Oh, no. And so Rachel always told me, hey, when you turn 35, you need to go to the doctor. You need to go get checked out. You need to go get a physical done.
You need to do all the things. Because you're not young anymore.
And I'm not somebody that gets sick often. I get sick once a year. Usually, maybe.
Well, now we have young children, so we catch colds more often.
Without the kids, I'll get sick once per year. I have memories of going 2 years without being in bed with a fever, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Because you didn't leave the house.
That also helped. Okay, not going anywhere.
You're an editor.
Sitting at home editing will keep you healthy. Another argument to be a filmmaker. But I remember that my dad was like, "You're gonna feel old," and I was like, "Fine, okay, I'll go in and get checked." So I go into the doctor and get a physical done and everything, and she tells me that I eat like a 15-year-old, might have high cholesterol. So that was one thing. I'm like, crap,
do.
I do have high cholesterol. Fine.
Not like you're gonna die, you need to be on medication, but hey, you need to watch this high cholesterol.
You should probably
adjust your diet and
eat
health.
better. So that's what I've been doing. But then the other thing I had to talk to her about was my snoring, because I'd say it was mid-2020.
Yeah, it was 2020 sometime.
I started to snore worse. And I went from sleeping quietly to loud snoring. And snoring enough that annoyed Rachel and wake her up. And so after months of her elbowing me, I remember that we went to Venture Workshop in Colorado.
Shout out.
Which was amazing. Loved it. And we got home and we were so tired that neither of us were sleeping well. I was snoring a ton. And Rachel woke me up that day that we flew back in, and she's like, "I cannot keep doing this. I need you to go sleep on the couch. This. Go sleep on the couch." And I was like, I'm really tired. And also the couch that we had at the time was from my grandma, and it's one of the most comfy. It's like an old lady couch, red floral print pattern. Not the most
beautiful thing, but very comfortable.
Oh my gosh, it felt amazing to sleep on. And I was like, I will gladly go sleep on the couch. I've slept on the couch hundreds of times growing up. I'll go sleep on that because it was in our living room. And I was like, sure. So I go in there. I slept like a baby that night. Incredibly. Nobody kicking me, nobody bothering me, nobody harassing me about my snoring. I was just out, and it was amazing. And so that leads into probably the juiciest tidbit that you're probably going to get from this entire podcast.
Oh, I hope it's not the juiciest, but we do not sleep in the same bed. And we haven't since then. Like, it's been 3.5 years more. They're like, why? Like, that was so nice. And we slept so good in completely separate rooms. They're like, why do we need to sleep in the same bed? And who made these rules?
That's whenever we discovered that I Love Lucy was onto something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, was it the 50s, like separate beds for the husband and wife? We got to go back to that, okay?
And I read culturally that we are. Like, more and more people are sleeping in separate rooms or separate beds in the same room. And I'm like, no judgment. Like, I don't think it's weird. People are probably going to judge us.
No, you can think it's weird. That's fine.
I don't care.
I know it's weird.
It works for us.
But it's, I realize that for us, like, sleep is just such a... Because whenever you get married, everybody's like, oh, you're going to be sleeping in the same bed. This is great. Oh, my gosh. Like, especially if you're raised, like, puritanical Christian, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to be very, like, you're going to sleep in separate, like...
But other than when you're actually doing something, how is it a good thing?
It's, like...
It's not. You're warm. You get in my way. Like...
Snore.
Don't cuddle with me. I want to sleep. You snore.
Rachel had a thing where she would kick me with her legs while she was asleep, and she always wanted things really hot, and I always wanted things really cold. And I've seen, like, they have contraptions where you can get airflow for your bed where it, like, cools one side of the mattress and the other side stays hot, or you can actually put, like, a water layer where it's cool on one side, hot on the other. And I was just like...
that seems complicated. Just sleep in different beds.
Just sleep in different beds. What? So we started doing that in 2020. Me on the couch. I slept on the couch for a year, I think.
And you were happy.
I slept great. It was incredible. Slept like a baby. And
then we moved to this house.
And I kept sleeping on the
in a
couch
different
for a while.
room. Like, you're like, this bedroom is my bedroom.
Then we had we had another bedroom that, because we only had one kid, we had a 3-bedroom house. And we're like, well, let's just put this other, we already have a guest bed in here. I'll just sleep in here. And it was amazing. Like, I started sleeping there, and it'd be like, okay, love you, good night. And then I'd go to my bed. She'd go to her bed. If she wanted to stay up later, because Rachel likes staying up later than I do, great. She was able to do that. And it was pretty revolutionary. And a lot of people, like, still are like, why would you do that? Like, and a lot of people I tell that have to preface it like, yeah, we don't sleep in the same beds.
We're still in love. We're okay.
We're still in love. Our marriage is great. I have to, like, say that too. That's part of the addendum. Our marriage is fine. We're very happy and in love.
It's just a little abnormal still.
Yes, but we sleep incredibly.
I just don't see the appeal. Like, now that I've lived both ways, I don't see the appeal of sleeping in the same bed.
Drink break here. This is how carbonated this puppy is. If you're wearing headphones, I hope this doesn't hurt you. Ooh.
Oh,
you hear that carbonation there? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you get a dopamine hit when that sound?
Yeah, I do. I'm like a Pavlovian dog. When I hear that, when I hear the hiss of the carbonated water, I'm like, ooh, it's going to be good. Oh, yes. And it is. It's delicious. Okay? SodaStream, by the way, again, not a sponsor, but they let you choose the intensity of the carbonation. Like, they're like 3 pumps for a regular, 5 pumps for an intense.
And what
carbo.
do you do?
Oh, I'm a 5 pump boy.
5 pump boy.
5 pumper. Yeah.
That's the new merch. 5 pump boy.
Back into talk about the bedroom. Never mind. Anyways, wow. Okay, so
yeah, we don't sleep in the same bed, but you were going to talk about your CPAP.
Yeah. So
he snores. Back to the snoring.
So I was snoring just terribly, very loudly, and it was to the point that we went to Disney World with my mother. And my mother has terrible sleep apnea. For context, my mother is like 5'2" and 110 pounds. She's a very small woman.
Not who you would expect to have sleep apnea.
Typically for like the general demographic of people that have sleep apnea, usually they are overweight, if not significantly so. And I know that because whenever I went to the doctor and I was checked out, they told me that I had the level of sleep apnea that they normally see in a 300-pound man. And as a 180-ish pound man, I was like, well, I'm definitely not that. So
so you did a test.
So I had to do a test, and
your mom we went back to
yeah. So we were in Disney World sharing a hotel room with my mother.
Yeah.
And
before we had the second baby.
She was wearing her CPAP machine, and she heard me snoring, and she's like, Matthew, you have what I have. And I was like, oh no. Oh, dang it. So I ended up getting a sleep study done where you would think it'd be stressful. Like I've talked to other people that like had to do a sleep study and they made them sleep in a hospital,
like all hooked
and
up,
like hooked them all up to all these wires, wear a big head thing, and it's really hard to sleep. Not how I did. I guess for like the new modern stuff, if you're scared of it, they literally it looked like an Apple Watch, like a really cheap plastic Apple Watch on my wrist, and it had a finger monitor and like a little chest strip monitor. And I literally just slept at home in my own bed. The watch connected to my phone. It had an app. Literally just slept on my own bed. And at the end of the night, it was like, great, your results have been uploaded. So literally just slept one night. It sent off things electronically. And they're like, yeah, just throw away the watch. You don't have to keep it. And I was like, just throw it away? Okay, well, it's just like cheap plastic. I guess I'll just dispose of it? Weird. And then a week later, I went to the doctor. They had my results, and the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, there's like a mild level of sleep apnea where for those of you that don't know what sleep apnea is, and you're wondering why I was snoring so badly, essentially sleep apnea is imagine that you're sleeping and your body says, "Hey, how about we just stop breathing and hold our breath for as long as we possibly can before we almost die, and then we take a breath." That's basically what sleep apnea is. Your body just stops breathing, and then you eventually start to literally like die, like get blue lips, everything like that, and then suddenly your body remembers, oh, hey, we should breathe, and you go, and then you breathe. So the way it sounds whenever you're snoring is like loud snoring, and then suddenly it's just silent, and it's silent for like 30 seconds, and then suddenly it's like gasp, and then the snoring continues. So if you know anybody experiencing that, or you
well, honestly, if you know anybody that snores loudly, they need to get checked anyway.
Yeah,
because snoring is not a normal symptom of anything. Like
yes.
you shouldn't be snoring. Like there's some reason that you're snoring. Either it's sleep apnea or something else.
Something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my results back from the doctor, and as I said, my level of severity was something they normally see in 300-pound men. And also that they have this severity chart of how many incidents you have per hour of you stopping breathing. And that's kind of how they measure it. And so mild is like 0 to 5 incidents per hour. Like 5 times every hour, you stop breathing for a while.
What sounds like a lot.
Which is a lot, right?
But
sounds
that's
like
mild.
A lot. But that's mild, yeah. Then like something 6 to 15 is medium or intermediate. Then there's severe is higher.
What was yours?
I was waking up 34 times every hour, not breathing. So literally my body was just like, let's just not breathe 34 times. Let's just hold our breath 34 times every hour.
Which is really bad.
Yes, severe,
yeah.
Extreme. Like you could die. I'm like, cool, great.
Like, it'll start affecting your thyroid and your heart muscle, and not
everything.
It's bad, yeah.
And so I think that like my thyroid levels were slightly out of whack, but thankfully my my heart was doing fine, and I was looking at like what can happen and stuff like that. And the doctor basically said that normally for most people that have sleep apnea, they're normally like older people. I play this fun game when I'm at the airport where I carry my CPAP bag around, and then I look and see all the other people that have CPAP machines, because once you go and you're going to start noticing how many people have them carry on planes, because you're supposed to carry them on. And it's always like old men, and it's always just like me and just like my CPAP
and your
bag
mom.
And my mom. And then like I'm like, that guy's got sleep apnea, that guy's got sleep apnea. It's so entertaining, let me tell you. Fun little game. But I'm getting so 34 times every hour, which that can lead to, is it hypoxia, basically, where you like,
I don't know, basically
your blood oxygen levels start to drop, and then there's people that you normally want to be like 100% blood oxygen.
This is a science podcast now.
Mine, like a lot of people, with sleep apnea, theirs get down to like 50%, I believe. I may be totally crazy and off the mark there, but it gets really low, and then suddenly the doctor's like, crap, you like are gonna have a lot of health issues. Thankfully, my doctor said because I was young, I still was having like 95% blood oxygen saturation, which was good, but it still like was trending in a downward direction. They're like, nope, hey, like we're glad we caught this really early. If you were mild, we could have given you a little device that would like stimulate your sinuses so you could sleep without needing a mask. If you were mild, we could do a mild surgery on you and fix it.
But you're not.
But not you. Sorry. You're really severe, so you get to wear a mask for the rest of your life every night that you sleep.
And she called you a turtle.
And then, yes, she's like, yeah, so here's your issue. You look at your neck there. You got like a short neck. That's your main issue. You got a little turtleneck. You look like a turtle. And I don't know if you can see me on the video, but she's like doing like this little shoulder thing, and she's sucking in my head. She's like, look, it's like you're a little turtle.
Like, it's basically you inherited, because of your mom, like the anatomy of a
turtle. The anatomy of a turtle.
Because you have a short neck, and because of how like your trachea is shaped, that's why you have sleep apnea. Is because you can't, like, when you're laying down, you don't breathe correctly because you're a turtle.
Because you got a little turtleneck.
So if you have a short neck and you snore, we're looking out for you.
So cue me looking at my doctor as she tells me, yeah, you got a little turtleneck. And
so
I'm
funny.
Like, am I paying you to be insulted right now? Like, I'm paying this woman. I'm
for comedy.
I don't have like good insurance. I'm self-employed here. I'm paying for this out of pocket, lady, and I'm just here being insulted about my little.
But how many times have you told this story? You've made money probably on this story, so it's fine.
I hope so. Okay, it's a pretty funny story. Okay,
little turtle man.
Little turtle man, that's you. Oh, gosh.
You kind of have a little turtleneck. You don't have much of a neck.
That's who you married.
I have a pretty long neck for my head, but you don't really have one.
Yeah, you're one of those long neck dinosaurs.
Yep, that's me. Large and long neck.
So my point here is that I now get to wear this mask every time I sleep, which if you're scared of that, or if you're like, man, I would never want to be diagnosed with that, let me tell you, it is fantastic. Like, just the knowledge that, oh man, I have this debilitating thing that would put me in the grave at like 50, but suddenly, oh no, we got this device you just wear. All that does is just blow air into your lungs and kind of like a humidifier.
Baby humidifier with pressurized, yeah.
Cool. So I just
and you don't snore.
And I don't snore anymore.
You sleep way better.
It only goes over my nose so I could keep my beard. Mm-hmm. And I sleep less than I needed to before, and I feel way more rested.
And we still don't sleep in the same bed.
No, it's great. So we have updated our system here. I don't know how deep we're going to get into this here, but our sleeping system has evolved a bit. Anytime anybody comes over and we show them our bedroom, they're like, oh, well, this is interesting.
You're one of those.
Wow. What sort of relationship do y'all have? No, there's not swings hanging or anything like that.
Oh, no. This is supposed to be PG. Now you rail in it.
Yeah. So there's I have moved out of the other bedroom. I'm now in the same bedroom as Rachel, but
we have a large master. Like when we moved into this house, it is a ginormous room. Like, what are you gonna fit in there? Like, I could put like a sitting area and 2 couches and a bed. Like,
it is abnormally large for a master bedroom, to the point that we're like, we have no use for half this space. It's bigger than the
living room.
I don't know what to do in there. So
I think I don't know.
Lots of room for activities, but as it is, we have 2 beds in there now. We have the queen that we've had for forever, and then we have a full. And so Rachel sleeps in the queen. I sleep in the full. And
for a while we had a pack and play in there because of the baby, and we had Leah has a little bed on the floor because sometimes she gets scared and she comes in to sleep with us and she sleeps on the floor. So sometimes we have 4 beds in that room, and we can fit 8 beds in that room. It's kind ginormous.
It's like a hostel kind of.
Yeah, it's hostel situation.
The Johnson hostel. Come on by. You can sleep in one of these beds.
We have children under the age of 5 too. Yeah. We're trying to make life work.
Thankfully, I can sleep in the same room with Rachel. I don't snore anymore. I feel great. And I'm just saying, if you snore and you're scared, get it checked out. It will literally change your life if you get a CPAP and you're like, wow, I feel amazing. So yeah, it's a pain to haul around whenever we go flying and things like that. But overall,
you're dealing with your health issues. I'm proud of you.
I'm trying.
You're getting healthy. You're drinking sparkling water. You're wearing your mask. Look at you. You need to get a skin check. A lot of people have issues. I wrote that down. Oh, next thing I was like, I need to make you a dermatologist appointment. Check all your moles. Get some biopsies. It's been a little while.
But I've got it's nice. I have no real complaints about our we have a weird sleep situation, but it works. No complaints.
It just makes me think of how many people are in denial. That they've convinced themselves they actually like sleeping in the same bed when they just think that's what you're supposed to do.
I know some people that cuddle. I know some people it's so great, and we're all wrapped up around each other. No, the vast majority of guys I talk to are
I'm sure there's so people sweaty, that like that, but I'm
so hot in this bed.
How many people actually like it?
And then
that's my
people question. Well, just get a king size bed. And then I'm like, no, because then your kid's gonna want to get a bed and it's still just gonna be cramped.
But what if you like different blankets?
Yeah. Like,
I like a really firm bed. You don't really care.
I have a really thin blanket. That's all I use. It's so great.
Yeah.
So great. It's wonderful.
We're just learning about ourselves. This is our evolved state.
Yeah. You hit your
Our
30s,
evolved
okay?
state. Like, you just learn.
Your body's going to start falling apart once you get over 33, and that's fine because they make CPAPs, and you'll be fine.
But they're learning all these juicy things about us, about our relationship, that we just are very non-traditional.
That's what I'm trying to do. Lighter than. If you guys watched the show Siren on Netflix.
Oh, this is a good.
I think it's a South Korean show, and it's all these women competitors, and they are
They're all from different fields.
Yeah, there's different teams. There's a team of women,
police, firefighters, security guards, like
bodyguards,
military. What are the other ones?
There's stunt women.
Yeah,
and they're all on this island, and it's kind of like a giant game of capture the flag plus survivor plus like challenges. It's very
I think
interesting.
Survivor plus capture the flag is a good like mix with teams of 4 based on their profession.
And so like the teams are trying to get each other's flags, and it's really intense. I've only watched like 3 episodes so far, but I am totally hooked.
It's really cool.
And you have to really watch it because all has subtitles, so you got to really pay attention unless you speak South Korean. They don't have it dubbed like they had a.
I don't like dubbing. It's weird. Like I like reading. Like I'll read the subtitles.
Squid Game was dubbed, and I watched I think half of an episode with the dubbing, and then I realized that it was only like 5 voice actors for every single person in it. And I'm like,
I'm capable of reading.
This doesn't work. I don't like this here. Oh, Physical 100. No, that's what it was. It was Physical 100. I watched that with dubs, and then I was like, I can't do this after half an episode. Like, I have to watch it with them. But
I'm also a person that watches subtitles on everything. Like, even if it's in English, I really, really like subtitles.
I find myself getting distracted by the subtitles, so
I just always have the subtitles on, and I really like that because I don't know.
I'm not a subber, so we play this fun game where whenever we use the same Netflix profile just because it's like shared by the whole family. So if we get at me, Netflix, would love a sponsorship.
We're gonna shut our account down now.
Yeah,
after they heard that.
Now you're gonna shut down my account because I'm using my mom's Netflix. Yeah, I use my parents' Netflix. Okay, it's fine, but it's one of those things where we just have like the same account that both of us are using, the same profile. So
I'll turn it on, and then he'll turn it off, and then I'll turn it on.
Depending on who's watching it, like the subtitles are off and on, off and on. It's always just going back and forth repeatedly.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm just somebody that doesn't like to. I love reading, but I find that if I'm reading the subtitles, then I'm not paying as much attention to the cinematography and like the feeling and the story. I just feel like I'm partially reading the episode.
I also watch more TV than you do.
Yes.
Like, you tend to consume media, a lot of YouTube. What other media? You read?
I watch a crap load of YouTube. I read a decent amount of books.
And then random
I haven't read much
shows.
since having a baby. I got to get back into it.
Random TV shows, random movies. But I would say mostly YouTube.
For me, it's like pop culture stuff. Like I saw somebody talking about Siren. I was like, oh, I should watch Siren. Or like, oh, I got to watch Stranger Things because everybody's watching that. Or Squid Game. Okay, well, everybody's talking about it. So,
but it's not your main consumption of media. YouTube is your main consumption. Yeah. See, I really like TV. I'm a TV equal opportunist. All TV is good person. Like, yes. I like trash television. Like, this is very vulnerable for me, but I like Love Island. I don't like The Bachelor. The Bachelor. She doesn't even watch
Love Island, like just America. She watches Love Island.
Oh no, you have to watch Love Island UK and Australia. They're far better, and there's only a couple people that this is actually going to make sense to. But there's like levels of trash television, and that is top tier trash. Peak trash.
You are in the dumpster.
But I also don't like The Bachelor's boring. I don't like the shows like the Kardashians. I just can't get it because it's like I just can't do it. But for some reason, I'm like, Love Island. Yes.
Rachel wants that semi-real relationship drama.
It's just so ridiculous. Or like Love is Blind. Or something. That's not nearly as good as Love Island. Like, I'd say Love Island is like top tier trash.
This is something that Rachel doesn't let me tell other people. Like, if
usually I'm like, oh, you can't tell. Like, when you don't know someone really well and you're like, oh, she watches Love Island, they just assume that I'm a certain type of person.
Like, oh, you're like that. But also, she makes connections with some women that are like, oh my gosh, you do? I love it.
It's just a very, like, I like Big Brother. Like, there's something like trashy that I enjoy about Big Brother, but I don't like other competitive shows. Like I don't like Survivor or like American Idol or like all of those. Like I don't know, it's a specific trash. But I also just love TV. Like I also like, I don't know,
Rachel
everything.
Has her
my favorites
shows.
Like my favorite shows are like Gilmore Girls is so like I've probably watched Gilmore Girls at least 7 times in my life.
If
least.
She's going through any like a stressful time,
like an emotional time,
I'll look over at her screen and it's just Gilmore Girls.
And you can't just watch a one-off episode. If I start Gilmore Girls, I will watch it beginning to end, the whole thing. I don't watch the like new ones because those don't count. And it's just, you have to. And then there's certain shows I really like. We'll watch Friday Night Lights, but that's not nearly as good as Gilmore Girls. Like I think I've only watched Friday Night Lights twice, or like One Tree Hill twice.
Yeah.
Or like I'll rewatch shows. Like sometimes I'm like, I rewatched Alias.
Oh, yeah.
I want to rewatch Dexter. There's like some good Luther.
She loves her comfort. Good.
Like I just like all TV. Like I like.
But I saw you for a while last year. Like when you were pregnant, you were working your way through old Big Brother seasons.
Yeah, I was going through a phase where I was like, I can't watch anything super heavy, so I watched like 2005 Big Brother.
So it
like
was
old school.
It was the 4:3 aspect ratio.
But the way you do it so you don't get too jarring is you don't start at 1, you start at the current season and you go backwards, so it's a very slow like degrade, so you don't actually notice how bad the quality is. You have to go backwards. There's thought to it.
Because I just remember looking over and I'm like, that's filmed in like standard definition. Yeah. This is some
I also
janky.
rewatched all of the seasons, or didn't rewatch. I watched all the seasons of Top Chef, which I love. Top Chef. That is a competition.
Shut up about Top Chef.
It's so well done. I'm obsessed. And I watched all of the old ones that I hadn't seen. But I also just like all the shows. Stranger Things,
American Barbecue
I love
Showdown.
All of it.
American Barbecue Showdown was very good. Watched 2 seasons of that on Netflix.
That is really enjoyable. I like cooking shows.
It was one of the closest that I'd seen to like Great British Baking Show, where everybody's really friendly.
Great British Baking is kind of boring.
Good job,
though.
Good try. You did a good job baking. It was very similar to that, and they're like, "There's a good try on this meat. Could have been a little bit more seasoned."
It's not quite trashy enough for me.
Oh yeah, but it was meat, so it was okay.
Yeah.
It was delicious smoked meats. That made it all right.
I just stand by I just really like TV as a medium. I think it's I find it way better than movies. Like movies, it's like, oh, you have 2 hours or 3 hours to get something. And it's fine. Like I love movies. That's fine. But like as a really good series from beginning to end is so much more satisfying than a film. Like
Rachel needs something to binge.
The Wire or like West Wing, like classic drama. Like that is so much better than like a movie. I'm like, that's like
10 episodes.
I need 80 hours of content. Like if it's like this is just such a more satisfying story arc.
I get it.
It's just so much better. TV is better than movies. Stand by the statement. People are going to come at me.
They probably will. But that's okay.
Love Island's the best.
It is. Clearly. I mean, I've never watched it. I just know that I'll turn over and see it, and she has her headphones on. And there'll be like...
people in bikinis or just like...
people yelling in their swimsuits. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But if I need to... Yeah. It's a feeling. It's like there's ranges of like what I need to watch. Is it Gilmore Girls? Is it Dexter killing people? Is it Love Island? It's all inside
did go
here.
Through this phase of where she couldn't handle, as she said, like heavy stuff. So she'll watch her comfort shows because she'll go through a period where she's like, I'm gonna watch The Handmaid's Tale, and it's like really heavy and intense. And I look over and she's like crying,
weeping because it's so good,
ugly crying, like at their computer going, "You okay?" She's like, "I'm fine." And then she's like, I need to. Then it's like Gilmore Girls next. She's like, I gotta decompress.
Yeah,
there's
like dramas, trash.
They took away her baby.
Yes, there's like 3 different genres, and you have to cycle through for good mental health.
Working through it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're all good. Like I just like television. It makes me sound like I've watched everything, but I do.
You're getting there.
I do.
You're doing your best.
I'm the worst.
Yes,
or the best.
You are.
I don't know.
And at the same time.
At the same time.
Worst and the best. Well, see you later.
Bye.